Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold, investment consultant, Mr. Money Talk. I think the most pressure that the Twins have felt all season is this weekend.
Tonight, yes.
Pressure to sweep this historically bad White Sox team.
Wow, that is true. 27-84, as you pointed out. This is not the first time the Twinks have been in this situation. Declan, how old were you in 1988? Nothing?
I was -4.
Negative. And how about you, Phil? You were five,
I was
maybe?
three. Yeah.
The Baltimore Orioles started the season by losing their first 18 and came to town, Cal Ripken Jr. as their shortstop out there every game. And they came to town and 18 in a row. Lots of pressure on that Twins team, which was coming off a World Series victory. And they won 3 close games to push it to 0-21, of course, the worst start in baseball history. And then the Orioles went to Chicago and went to Comiskey Park and won a game against the White Sox to end the 0-21.
Yeah.
But how would you like to that'll take a little pizzazz out of your season when you start off 0-21.
What was the Twins that one year? Was it 0-9? Like 2016 or whatever year that was?
0-9 they started.
They did have that awful year. Yes, that was after the year of hope, 2015 too.
Yeah.
That Molly came in and they, the bottom of it was really top heavy, and the Twins had a chance, as mediocre as they were the last weekend, to make the 1-game wild card. Remember, and then the next year they set an all-time record for most losses in Twins history, 59-103, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
it led to major front office change. Falvey
Yes.
took over as like a 34-year-old after that season.
And Terry basically told him he was done, I think, in June, and then they didn't announce it till later in the season, right?
It came out in like July. It came out early.
And Robbie was the GM for a couple of months there.
Yeah, so. Rob Anthony handled the trade deadline, was what happened, because Terry was like, I'm not going to hold this process up.
I'm done here. That's enough. Thank you very much. So anyway, yeah, it's. I mean, I watched a little of them last week, and the Kansas City, they got a 3-1 lead, and they give up 6 in the ninth. And then the next night, they got a 3-2 lead, and they gave up 3 in the ninth. They gave up 9 runs, eighth inning. They gave up 9 runs in the 8th inning in back-to-back losses. Kansas City, by the way, has passed our Minnesota Twins by percentage. Same number of games over 500, but by percentage points. So that's this is not. It is incredible. If it wasn't for the White Sox, the division would be pretty good, because Detroit's not terrible. They're
Detroit's competitive, and they have the best pitcher in the division.
Yes, that's true. How about this? How do we pronounce Crochet? Do we pronounce it Crochet? Is that how we pronounce the lefty? Yep. How about him announcing before the trade deadline that he wouldn't pitch in the postseason unless he had a contract, a guaranteed multi-year contract?
That's a new one. That is a new one.
That is how to really, you got a club 60 games under 500, and let's give him some really good PR and say the best pitcher, the guy who went to the All-Star game, pitched in the All-Star game, refuses to pitch if he gets traded. If you can, they wanted to trade him for like 3 good players, and when he said that, everybody backed off.
He also said, I'm not going to the bullpen, because he's like exceeded his
limit. He's 113 innings.
So he announced, 1, I won't go to your bullpen and pitch at all, and 2, I want you to give me an extension. Here's my question though: is the guy nuts because he just made himself stay with one of the worst teams, arguably the worst in baseball history, as opposed to going to the Dodgers, where you go to California and you play for a good team?
Yes, and he's pitching here Saturday, but he's supposedly they had him on 120 innings. They thought going into the year or something. Well, he's got 113, so he, if he sticks it to the Twins, is that it? Is he done then? Is he, what are they going to do with him? I mean, it's not like it's real important whether he starts or not. It's not real vital because they're not going to change anything. But wow, it is. I still say that the start of last season, they had about six guys you thought were players: Jimenez, Robert, Vaughn, the left-handed hitter. That's what's the lefty hitter? That's younger lefty hitter. That's wasn't too bad. He's still there. I thought he was going to be. You thought they had some potential in their lineup. They had a horrible year, and now this is just amazing.
Yeah. So, well, it's a must sweep. Hopefully, the
Yes,
Twins
yes,
can
right. Yes.
not succumb to the pressure. Are you? What's your level of being hooked on the Olympics so far this week?
Oh,
Are you like in Judd's realm where he just avoids it for 2 weeks? Are
well,
you?
the bride and I watched. She was watching it upstairs yesterday morning about noon. So we watched Simone and Suni get their
Yeah.
medals. So that was the first real stuff I've watched. Once in a while, I turn it on and there's a swimming race, and I'll watch that. But I have not really paid any.
I
And I
am to the
watched.
point. I'm pretty hooked. I'm to the point where I just watched on Peacock Chase Budinger in men's beach volleyball get beat by the Spaniards in like the quarterfinals. So
I turned on the 3-on-3 women's basketball the other day, and it was already over because that doesn't take long to get to 20, and that's a game. 10 minutes is a game. So
yeah.
it's when they go to a tournament, they play best of 5 or something. But in this thing, it's just a 10-minute game. And I watched a little of the basketball game against Jokic. So I thought that might be competitive, but it wasn't. So I don't know. I've said when you cover it, you think there's nothing else in the world that anybody cares about. When you're not there, you got to make yourself. But Phil, the secret of having to watch the Olympics is the power of your spouse. That's if you have a bride who's hooked on all this stuff, because women watch it way more than men, especially the certain events.
Yeah.
So if you try to get along with a bride who loves the Olympics, then you got to watch a lot of it. So that's what you're doing. So
I
Yeah, I
leave
think
the
John
room.
John is hooked, and
I
I
leave the
think
room. I walk
Yeah.
out. I'm not gonna. Dawn, you know what? Dawn can watch that, or How to Kill Your Husband in 6 Steps. I
Yes.
walk out of the room no matter
Yes,
what.
right. Yes, I have not watched a lot of it. Last night, in fact, I watched the Cardinals and the Cubs, which was a very good game. The Cubbies down to their last strike with only one runner on base, 2 runs down, get 3 straight doubles and win the game. So it was a lively night in Wrigley Field, and quite a contrast to what we're seeing from that ball club that's here tonight.
yeah.
The stand-up South Side. So
Yeah. So are you going to make it to the night practice on Monday? Vikings first night practice? You
I
gonna make the trek out to Egan?
believe I wouldn't bet on it. No,
Okay.
no. Actually, Monday is Croatian celebration at my house. My Croatian friends come over. They come every summer to visit the grandparents, and then they come over for a day in the backyard, and we get neighborhood kids and other people that have gotten to know them, and so it's Monday is Croatian celebration at our house.
You're
So
an event planner?
can't
I didn't
make it.
know this.
Oh, this is my only event of the year, by the way. It's the only one. It's the only time the pool has to really be ready to go all year. So that's it. So
Okay. I did just see the Croatians beat somebody in a rowing competition like 10 minutes ago. So they're very happy about that.
what is our feeling about everything they're adding here? The breakdancing and I mean, come on,
Trampoline was on this morning.
trampoline. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's gotten outrageous the number of sports that are that they it's just I guess it's what TV wants, right? I mean you
Yeah.
don't have baseball and softball, but you got because people don't watch it, but they watch they're going to watch breakdancing because they're going to say what the hell, what how do we score that? By the way, the one who looks the
Breakdancing,
most
it's
like
all subjective, or is
the,
it
one-
is it
the
like
one
a
who looks the
difficulty
most
score?
the one who looks the most like Michael Jackson or something when he's dancing or some damn thing.
That's
Is that
exactly what the criteria is,
that's what the
actually.
criteria
All
is.
they want, Pat, to your point, because people turn on the Olympics and leave them on. All they want is constant programming.
Yes.
Because like if it ends or something, then you flip channels, right? So
Yes.
like they'll put anything in because
Yes.
people will say, "Well, it's the Olympics. I have to watch it."
I covered 6 Olympics. The only bad one was Calgary, and that was because they
Yep.
were on a new contract, and they expanded it from 10 days to 16, but didn't add any events. So some days there was like nothing. There was ballet skiing or something like that. So then they had to start adding all this stuff. I will say one of the favorite events I ever covered though was in Salt Lake when they had the half pipe, when they introduced the half pipe. And that crowd and me were from different planets. I want to tell you, it was great. And I was getting my advice on what was happening from a European guy who had a half a Hitler mustache and a half a haircut. He had long hair on one side and no hair on the other, and had several nose rings. But he was a great guy, and he was telling me what was going on. And that was quite an odd couple. And now what are they doing here? Is this good or bad? And
Well,
then Tony Hawk, who by the way was at the gymnastics last night,
he was.
showed up that time, and that crowd of 12-year-olds went insane because Tony Hawk, he wasn't competing, he just walked in, but he's like the idol of idol, I guess.
How is it possible? Because I did this is like last Saturday. I caught some of the I think it's the freestyle skateboarding where they're going down railings and stairs, not
Yes.
the half pipe. And the winners, like the 3 medalists, are all 14 through 16 years old.
Yes.
How is it possible that the best skateboarders in the world are 8th graders? Like, there's not a 27-year-old out there that.
Yeah, it is a
I don't know if
different,
they wanna
and
compete.
the great change in gymnastics, women's gymnastics, is they put an age limit on it because they were having 14, 15-year-old girls who weighed 80 pounds. I remember when was it Salt Lake? I think it was Salt Lake. Might have been, no, Sydney, probably Sydney, 2000. And that young gal, their voices hadn't changed. They had these squeaky, little kind of being tormented by Bella Caroli and his wife, and driven to never gain a pound. And now they what, 17, is it 16 or 17 maybe? So they've the girls that got some size to them are out there, short but a little,
Simone Biles,
larger.
I believe, is the oldest woman to ever win the women's all around too, at 27 years old. I did find a list of sports that have been discontinued at the Summer Olympics.
Oh yeah.
It's a really fun list. They used to have tug of war until
Okay.
1920.
Okay.
Bring it
I
back.
bet the Germans were good in tug of war.
Just pull a gun and shoot the other team. Apparently, they had chess for a year at the Sydney Olympics in 2000.
No, that must have been an exhibition. It wasn't a medal. They must have been an exhibition because they've had brought in some exhibitions, but that it wasn't.
Okay, it was an unofficial exhibition,
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
2000 Summer Olympics. Cycling polo at the 1908 Olympics.
It's
a lot of
would have been
coordination.
interesting. Yes,
Oh, I'd bring that back.
I want them to
Cycling
have.
polo.
I've talked about this before, but I want them to have the national sport of Afghanistan, the one where they ride around on horses and knock a goat around the field, dead goat.
That's
around
right.
the
We
field.
did. Yeah, we did Google that
People
one day.
thought
on
I
the
was
show.
crazy when I said that, but they play with a goat.
Hey, you know what, Pat? I miss the Olympic Festival.
Oh God!
Do you remember that here? I covered Taekwondo. I was
We-
20. I had no idea what I was doing, but I got the Taekwondo
We
assignment.
covered everything, and we pumped. The Star Tribune was like $100,000 investor in it or something. We were a gold sponsor. Remember that? We covered the damn thing like it meant something. Who was the publisher then?
Roger Parkinson.
Parkinson. Okay, God, he was in it. I wrote my last column. I said, go home and get some jobs. You got some sports here that are ridiculous, and we don't, like team handball and stuff. I don't know if that want to get in anymore, but I kind of slipped it in on a Saturday when nobody was around, and it was basically, We don't need team handball. Go home and get you're a college guy, you're 22, you got a degree, go get a job. Help America.
Is
So,
has dodgeball ever been an Olympic sport?
I
Ever
don't
make
think
dodgeball?
so.
I love handball. Handball's awesome.
But like, who
Team-
plays handball? Like, are there professional leagues, or do they make money
Europe.
playing handball?
Yep, it's a big deal in Europe.
You're
and
some
Russia.
places, team handball, yeah. So
There you go.
Very big deal.
it's kind of fun not having the Ruskies there, though, isn't it? Once in a while, they got 37 of them or something. They got.
Did we
the
ban
Russians.
them, or how did they
Yes.
get taken
They
out of the
compete-
Olympics? We
The war.
Because they
banned them
declared
because of
war.
the invasion on Ukraine. Okay.
Yeah, I miss them. The Russians are great. I miss them.
Well, the fall of the Soviet Union really hurt
Yeah, it's true.
us because they were always the bad guys, and then when we ended up with 20 countries instead of one, then we were the bad. Then we became the bad guys. Now Russia's the bad guys again, but we're the rest of the world. I go to enough Olympics to know the rest of the world hates us. They don't want us to win anything. Yeah. They think we're privileged. I don't know how they can think that, but they do. They think we're privileged. For instance, when we're playing the Congo or something, they root against us to lose to the Congo.
Yeah, we're a little obnoxious, especially like the opening ceremony when everyone's on a boat and we have the biggest yacht in the entire
France
European.
had like the same amount though.
Yeah, but they're local. We send.
84,
and then you get these smaller countries with like 4 people
That's
waving
hilarious.
on there.
Hello.
84, we were just jackasses. The U.S. I mean, first of all, none of the only communist countries that came were Romania and Yugoslavia. The rest of them didn't come, and Romania was the only satellite country that came because of the gymnastics, and that was the USA fast crazy. You'd beat somebody in basketball by 80 points and everybody chant USA, USA. What a bunch of jackasses.
So we didn't go to Russia in 80, and so they boycotted us in 84, right?
Yes, we didn't go to Russia because of the invasion of Afghanistan. We should have learned a lesson. Don't invade Afghanistan. That's, they got issues. They got mountains that they can hide in. Don't invade Afghanistan. We should have learned that from the Russians.
The Reusse playbook.
Yeah,
mountains
right.
that you can hide in. Avoid an invasion.
Avoid them.
Flatland, invade them.
Yes, right.
Speaking of the Reusse playbook, let's talk about cars here for a moment, Patrick.
All right,
Let's open
let's
your
do
car
that.
playbook.
Yeah, why don't we have any events in the Olympics involving cars? How about auto racing? Why don't we have auto racing in the Olympics? It would be.
I think back in the day we used to have something to do with.
Might have had that. And as the state fair comes up, I always get nostalgic for the days when they had. I'm so old. Back in the 50s, they had race car driving every day. They had race cars at the thing. But anyway, Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. I had another person compliment me on my 2019 Buick convertible yesterday when I was at a stop sign. A young person. They were very impressed to see a fat old guy in this beautiful car. But right now it's kind of SUV time, station wagon time, big old monster truck time. Not monster truck, but heavy duty trucks. The GMC Sierras, all those. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers in Apple Valley and Hastings. Full stock of those big vehicles that you can load up your kids' hockey equipment in for this year. 4 different varieties of SUVs, depending on how many kids you have, or depending on whether you're a coach or not, and have to take everybody's equipment. Anyway, this is, check them out. They got low interest rates now, 0.9, 1.9, and the factory rebates are back. So check them out, Apple Valley and Hastings, the Valley Group of GM dealers.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you have helped us raise a lot of money here, Pat, by jumping on yesterday for it's the annual Power of Sports auction benefiting the Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute, and we're up to just under $13,000 raised for the week. Our goal is $15,000.
Come on.
And Pat, you have committed to make an appearance, a cameo, Wednesday, September 11th. Twins Angels, we're throwing a SKOR North Twin Show executive balcony party. It's a section of the ballpark that you can only get access to if you're given special permission here. There's 11 available tickets only, $99 a pop. So go to skornorth.com/auction to scoop them up. Come hang out with us.
Let me say this about the Fighting Twinks. I know it was disappointing they didn't do more at the trading deadline, but what's everybody mad at? I don't get it. It's like, they're, if the shortstop comes back, they're pretty good. What's the word on the shortstop, by the way?
He's behind schedule.
He is behind schedule. Huh?
He's just starting light running. We'll talk to him today for the first time. So he was obviously back here for the last week plus. So he's out of the boot, which is good news. But I'm guessing another week at least.
I think he should have tried to play and let the thing rip. That's how he got cured last year. It's got to rip. You can't surgically rip this thing apparently. But boy, that's a big miss right there. Although Brooks Lee's been okay at shortstop. He hasn't hit as well, but he's good to have around. He's a pretty good player. I don't know. I didn't think it was really important to move 3 prospects for Jack Flaherty. I'm sorry. So
I think the frustration is more, and we kind of laid this out earlier this week. It's a lifetime achievement of almost never being aggressive at the trade deadline under Derek Falvey. And the one time they were, it was a train wreck in 2022. So
yes,
the deadline is not a great time for the Twins to make
Bally's
their team
is
better.
back on Comcast, so
yes,
I'm happy.
Tonight
Yes.
you can watch him.
Yes, right now there's a fishing show on. Coming up next, Ron Scherer and his daughter go fishing, and you can watch it.
I think they rerun some of those shows.
You think
from
so?
about 15 years ago, don't they?
They were all originals.
Are we sure it's on Bally's? Because it's the MLB Network game tonight, it says.
Oh, so we might have to
really?
wait. Do we have
So
to
we
wait
don't-
another
No,
night?
I think it's a side by side.
Is it a
Yeah, I
side-by-side? Okay.
don't
I
think
think
the
it's a
MLB
side-by-side.
Network takes away the.
It's not an Apple game, right?
No.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
it's not.
then yeah, it's gonna be on. Damn it, Declan! Don't you stop me from getting Bally's. I want my
Aren't you-
LaPanta back. I want my pregame.
Don't
Give me
be
my
surprised.
loss.
Aren't
Give
you
me my
going to the
lots.
game? Aren't you going to the game tonight?
Yeah, I might, but it's more fun to
Okay.
talk about the potential to watch the pregame show.
Fraud. You
Yes.
fraud.
Yes. Well,
I
I'll
don't-
be there
you
tonight.
just found this out?
I gotta see those mighty whiteys with my own eyes to believe it. So I'll be there tonight.
I just want to see John Schifrin walk by him and say, "I think you're doing great work." All these haters, I think you're fantastic.
Yeah, I think that you're doing a miracle job putting a positive spin on 27 and 84. I think that's
Those
really
2,000 fans that show up, John, you are personally responsible.
I
Without you,
watched
it'd be
them
zero.
I watched them a night last week. It must have been Buck night or something. They had a 15, 20,000 there, it looked like. They had a pretty good crowd. I think they're now just coming to laugh. I don't know. Maybe it's, what it is, but they had a decent crowd that one night I watched them. So anyway, all right, Jets.
All right,
See
Pat.
ya. Have a
We'll
good
talk
weekend.
to you next week. Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold.